Hey guys, in this video I'm going to explain to you why programmers and companies love to use frameworks to build their applications. So before we get into understanding why people use frameworks, the first thing we need to understand is what is an alternative to using a framework. And an alternative to using a framework is usually using a native programming language to build our application, whether that is a user interface or an API. So, for example, for APIs, we can natively build an API using the Python programming language. For a user interface, we can natively build a JavaScript, HTML, and CSS website with using those technologies. So that is the alternative. And a lot of people argue that the alternative is better. So people will argue that, hey, you're writing all your own code, you know exactly how your code runs. It's going to be faster than using a framework. We'll talk more about what kind of frameworks we can use because frameworks sometimes add a lot of things you just do not need. And also, the framework is not going to be very specific to your business case. These are all very good arguments for why you shouldn't use a framework. Let's talk about what some frameworks actually are. So, for example, in the front end, we have WordPress, we have Angular, we have React, and we have Vue.js. These are very popular front end frameworks. In the back end for Python, we could use something like Fast or Django. So, why would people use these frameworks knowing that there are a few pitfalls that we need to overcome when we're developing with frameworks? The key thing is speed. Okay, so when we hire a software engineer, a lot of times we are hiring this person by the hour. So when we want him to produce results quickly. We do not want to pay him a lot of money by the hour. And also for the software engineer, if he is doing it by project and he isn't getting paid by the hour, he wants to do everything quickly so he can move on to his next project and get paid. So a key thing is speed. All right. So having a framework allows you to work faster and it also allows you to work better as a team because there's more consistency on how your code is written. Another advantage of working with frameworks is that it is a very cost effective way to do your security. And what I mean by this is that if you think about security on the front end, for example, we need to sanitize our inputs. Frameworks like Angular and React already sanitize your inputs, right? And for example, Flask in Python comes with a bunch of security features that help us build robust and safe APIs. So that is all the reasons why you would want to use a framework. So there is an ongoing debate out there about whether you should or shouldn't use a framework. The majority of companies will expect you to come to work with some knowledge on a framework. The only thing I would say for the aspiring programmers out there is that before you go into whatever framework and you learn it, you need to be good at a programming language. All right. So this might sound a bit confusing, right? Like if all you really need is to know the framework, why don't I just learn the framework? Can I skip steps? Can I just learn the framework and inadvertently learn the programming language? And this is something that I've seen like on Reddit. Like if I just learn React, will I be able to just know JavaScript? What I would say is, according to the actual React documentation, they say you should learn JavaScript first before you can learn React. To become a good developer, you need to learn the programming language. You can't heavily rely on your knowledge of a framework. I'm not trying to say you should know every little detail about that programming language, but you should know how to use that programming language to a point where when you get into a framework, it's a bit easier. So that's been my video about frameworks and why you should use them. If you found this content helpful, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to just any other videos. I also help people get into software engineering absolutely free. I help anyone, so if you need any help with your CV or anything, please reach out. More than willing to help. I hope you have a nice day and stay frosty.